Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, I just want to join my colleagues who've expressed concern with allowing school districts to use federal education dollars to buy guns for their teachers. You know, many public schools in this country cannot afford school nurses, guidance counselors, or basic classroom supplies for their students. Allowing schools to use scarce federal dollars to put guns in classrooms is an idea that is dangerous and dumb. And it clearly wasn't our intent when we wrote ESSA. You know, I want to thank all the moms and friends of moms who are here this morning to remind Congress that we don't work for the NRA, we work for the people. I'm here to talk about how states are implementing ESSA, and I'm going to submit questions for the record on accountability provisions in the law. But last week, we marked the one-year anniversary of Hurricanes Maria and Irma, which absolutely devastated Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands. The Puerto Rican government recently revised its death toll to 2,975 American citizens who lost their lives due to Maria and its aftermath. That makes it the deadliest natural disaster in modern American history. We also know that this storm had ripple effects all across the country, displacing tens of thousands of children and families, sending many students who weren't able to stay on the island to new schools all across the country. So just by a show of hands, how many of you absorbed students from Puerto Rico or the U.S. Virgin Islands into your school systems last year? Okay, and Secretary Bunting, how many displaced students did Delaware take in?
Approximately 100.
About 100.
About 100.
Yes. And Superintendent Spearman, how about South Carolina? About how many students
50.
came? So you had about 50. And Superintendent Spearman, do you expect more students this year because of Hurricane Florence?
We do. In fact, today is not a good day in some of our school districts in South Carolina because the floodwaters of Hurricane Florence are arriving in the Horry School District, Georgetown School District as we speak. So we anticipate a much larger number with our sister state of North Carolina being hurt so badly.
Well, and this is exactly the point. When disasters hit, they don't affect only the communities that are directly hit by the eye of the storm. In Massachusetts, we took in over 3,200 students who were displaced by Maria. We did that because that's what we do in a disaster. We reach out, we take care of people who need help for as long as they need it. And I know that in most of our states, including Tennessee, the same thing has happened. On the first day of school in Puerto Rico last month, more than 250 schools were permanently shuttered. In the first week of the school year, more than 56,000 enrolled students who the Puerto Rican Department of Education expected to be in school were missing from classes because they haven't come back. And that doesn't even include the decrease of approximately 42,000 students in enrollment since last year. Mr. Jeffries, these are profound numbers. Do you think Congress should hold hearings on Hurricane Maria and its devastating impacts on the educational system to figure out what lessons we can learn before the next disaster strikes?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, as the senator pointed out, we've had well over 250 schools closed, well over 40,000 children displaced. There's all types of questions in terms of schools being overcrowded, whether kids are getting their mental health services, their special education services, as well as just broader questions about whether or not basic educational opportunities are available to those kids.
Thank you. And Commissioner Blomstedt, do you know how many hearings the Senate has held on how the education and health systems in Puerto Rico were affected by Hurricane Maria, the deadliest storm in modern American history?
I'm guessing 0, but I didn't know there'd be a test.
Well, but you got the right answer, because the answer is none, 0. Hurricane Maria killed about 3,000 American citizens, had a crippling impact on health and education systems in Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands, had an impact in all around the country, and yet there hasn't been a single hearing. 3 months after Hurricane Maria, a bipartisan group of 9 members of this committee wrote to the chairman to ask for a hearing on Hurricane Maria's impact on health and education systems. A month later, 186 organizations sent the chairman a letter echoing this request. Mr. Chairman, I've spoken to you privately about this multiple times. I believe you when you say you're looking into it. I want to respect your hearing selection process. So this morning, I sent you another letter asking for a hearing. I have 7 of my colleagues who've joined me in this request. We hope you will consider this latest request and that we will have a hearing on the impact, the devastating impact on Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and the rest of the country because of this deadly hurricane.
Thank you, Senator Warren. I have the letter right in front of me, and I thank you for giving it to me before the hearing. Senator